أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون. And of the people are some who say, we believe in Allah and the last day, but they are absolutely not believers. They try to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they deceive not except themselves, and they perceive it not. In their hearts is a disease, so Allah has increased their disease, and for them is a painful punishment because they used to lie. In earlier ayat, we studied about two groups of people, the muttaqeen and the kafirin. Now these ayat refer towards a third category. These people, they are not on either side. They are not among muttaqeen, but not kafirin as well. Their state is not very clear, so needs more detail for more understanding. Hence, some explanation has been given about them. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ, and of the people are some who say. Instead of saying some people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the expression وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ, and of the people are some who say. It shows how much these people are disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He is not even mentioning them directly. But what is the cause of this displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards them? Let's see. They say that we believe in Allah and yes, of course, in the hereafter. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells that they are absolutely not believers. The word yakulu, it indicates that a singular person is saying that, but then he uses amanna, we believe. It means that he is using a plural expression, as if he is trying to assimilate himself with the true believers. Yaqulu also gives the meaning of saying again and again, as if he is repeating his claim again and again. But a mu'min don't need to keep on repeating the claim of belief again and again, as he knows his matter of iman is not with people, but with Allah. Then they are saying, Amanna billahi wa bil yawmil akhiri. An extra ba shows particular emphasis on yawmi akhirah as well. It shows their weakness in iman, particularly about akhirah, as they know their actions are not akhirah oriented. That's why they want to cover it up with their false claims. So we are discussing about people who want themselves to be among the mu'mineen, but in fact they are not mu'mineen at all. But why they are not mu'mineen? The answer is in the next ayah. يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون. They try to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they deceive not except themselves, and they perceive it not. The words يخادعون and يخدعون are both from the same roots, kha dal ain, but different formation. يخادعون gives the meaning of trying to deceive, while يخدعون means that already deceived. The word يشعرون, it means deep understanding, the realization. They try to deceive Allah and those who believe. But how can a person even think that he can deceive Allah? One explanation is that they are trying to deceive Rasul of Allah, as trying to deceive Rasul of Allah is actually trying to deceive Allah. Another explanation is that these people are used to a certain attitude. They have a certain formula of life. Using their words, they try to achieve success in whatever situation they are. When they require to be in the good books of someone to gain some benefit, they just act accordingly. And many times they succeed in their objectives in this dunya. So these people are without any firm standing and they just live the life for their own selves. without any principles. And their dual face is quite successful tool for them in this world. Now, due to this continuous behavior of theirs, they are in the view that they will be successful in the hereafter as well. They are not in the total negation of the hereafter, but they think that by just apparent religious behavior, they will succeed in akhirah as well, as if they are thinking that this behavior Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will approve. Ma'adallah. It shows they do not know their Rabb. They lack recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We learn in Surah An-Nisa, إن المنافقين يخادعون الله وهو خادعهم. Indeed, the hypocrites, they think to deceive Allah, but He is deceiving them. And when they stand for prayer, they stand lazily, showing themselves to the people and not remembering Allah except a little, wavering between them, belonging neither to the believers nor to the disbelievers. And whoever Allah leaves astray, never will you find for him a way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they are deceiving no other but their own selves, and they don't even realize. So these people, they have no realization of what they are doing, as if this behavior of theirs has got them mesmerized. So they lost the ability to see the realization of their behavior. But at first, why did they behave this way? The answer is in the next ayah. في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون. In their hearts is a disease, so Allah has increased their disease. As for them is a painful punishment because they used to lie. So their hearts are diseased. But what is the disease of their hearts? In Surah At-Tawbah we learn, say, O Muhammad, if your fathers, your sons, your brothers, your wives, your relatives, wealth which you have obtained, commerce wherein you fear decline, and dwellings with which you are pleased, are more beloved to you than Allah and His Messenger, and jihad in His cause, then wait until Allah executes His command. And Allah does not guide the defiantly disobedient ones. It shows their worldly benefits, desires are more dear to them than pleasure of Allah. Then we learn in Surah Al-Ankabut, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ. And of the people are some who say, we believe in Allah. But when one of them is harmed for the cause of Allah, they consider the trial of the people as if it were the punishment of Allah. But if victory comes from your Lord, they say, indeed, we were with you. Is not Allah most knowing of what is within the breasts of all creatures? It shows that they are doubtful about the consequences which a person might see in the form of punishment of Allah. So the hardship of this dunya seems greater to them. Hence they give up. So their disease is their worldly desires and doubts about the consequences particularly in the akhirah. When these people choose to live their life on the same track and do not want to rectify their disease, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let them live the way they want. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do not guide people forcefully. If a person prefers this dunya over akhirah, then this disease increases. But if he, on the other hand, tries to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah makes the way to Jannah easy for him. There are four types of heart. Heart of a mu'min, heart of a kafir. First two types we have already discussed in the earlier ayat. The third type is the heart of munafiq. Either he is a munafiq, a hypocrite in the sense that he knows that he is kafir at his heart. He is just pretending to be a Muslim. Or the kind that his heart has kufr and iman both. If the kufr dominates, then he ends up falling in the category of munafiqeen. On the other hand, if iman dominates, then he ends up in the heart of a mu'min. So the fourth type will end up either into the heart of a hypocrite or a believer. whichever dominates. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. And for them is a painful punishment because they used to lie. Lying is a major sin. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, "Can a believer be a coward?" He said, "Yes, he can be a coward." Then he was asked whether a believer could be a miser. He replied, "Yes, he can be a miser." He was then asked whether a believer could be a liar. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "No, a believer cannot be a liar." So we learn a lying person is not a believer. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do not ever lie, because lying leads to very abhorrent sins, and those in turn lead to hellfire. One keeps on lying and seeks to do that until one is recorded as a liar in some books of Allah." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Woe to him who talks to people and lies to make them laugh. Woe to him, woe to him. So, lying in any form is totally unacceptable, whether you lie just as a joke, or to children, or if it is any other kind of lie. We summarize our discussion with these points. These ayat talk about hypocrisy, and hypocrisy is of two types. Intentional, when a person is actually not a Muslim at heart but pretends to be like one. This hypocrisy is not very common, as just a few people do this deliberately for their certain objectives. Hypocrisy of second kind, which is very, very common, when a person verbally claims to be a Muslim, but his actions are not in accordance with his words. This hypocrisy is due to their diseased hearts. Very weak iman in akhirah lets the disease of doubts and desires dominate in their hearts, and they end up to be the hypocrites. They are not shy to lie. They lie so much so that their whole life turns into a lie. They even keep on lying to their own selves, and they do not see the real state of their heart. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The signs of a hypocrite are three. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. Whenever he promises, he breaks his promise. If you have trust in him, he proves to be dishonest." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Whoever has the following four characteristics will be a pure hypocrite, and whoever has one of the following four characteristics will have one characteristic of hypocrisy, unless and until he gives it up. Whenever he is entrusted, he betrays. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. Whenever he makes a covenant, he breaks it. Whenever he quarrels, he behaves in a very imprudent, evil, and insulting manner." سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.